Strike the Gold has a little more money bet on him than Olympio, so he's the favorite right now, despite both being at 2-1. Hansel, the Kentucky Derby favorite, is 9-1. Best Pal is third choice at 5-2. Honor Grays comes in at 18-1. Olympio at 2-1, and the long shot in the field is What'd You Think, in from California, at 39-1. Now, as far as the Chrysler Triple Crown Challenge is concerned, the winner of this race picks up 10 points, and Strike the Gold comes in with 10 from his Derby victory. Best Pal picked up 5 by finishing second. Maine Minister got 3 points for third. Green Alligator picked up a point for fourth, but is ineligible for the bonus because he's not here. You must start and finish all 3 races. The horse with the most points will get $1 million, and of course, if Strike the Gold wins the Triple Crown, it's worth $5 million to his connections. Strike the Gold's trainer, Nick Zito, and he's with Charles C. Canty.
Well, Nick Zito always sort of does things his way. First, he shattered the dosage myth by winning the Kentucky Derby with Strike the Gold. Now you've got the Derby winner in the wrong stall here at the Preakness, not the customary Derby winner stall. Why?
Well, you know, he likes being next to Senator to be in 36 red. And when I got off the van, I looked at stall 40 was the end stall. So he wouldn't be in between those two. So I put him in 33. I said to the management, I said, could you do me a favor? I'd like him in the middle. He said, well, there's a bunch of straw in there. I said, well, I'd like him in the middle. So they started taking out the straw. They were cooperative, and I didn't want to be wise or anything. But I basically wanted that stall. And it's Larry Bird's number, too. And, you know, I really admire Larry Bird, 33. And I believe in luck. You know, I think we're blessed having Strike the Gold and lucky. So I'm going by that. And Larry sent us a picture yesterday to Nick Zito and Strike the Gold, and they say he doesn't usually do these things, so I think we did the right thing.
A good omen. But now on to the Preakness.
Yes,
strategy, catching speed on a speed favoring racetrack. What will you do?
Well, Charles, you know, I've been telling everybody all week, I don't want to take this horse out of his game. And the worst thing you could do, and you know being a horsewoman, is take a horse out of his game. His natural way of running is coming from behind. He's not going to lay that far behind, but that's his natural way of running. And I can't do anything about the track. And the track was that way for the Florida Derby, and he still tried to get Fly So Free that day he came. And I think, you know, all good things for this horse, and I think it's going to be the same result anyway. You'll see the Strike the Gold like he always is. As long as we do right by him, he's been doing right by us. So
right, we'll
no worried about the track. Track is good for everybody, right?
Good for you all. And Nick Zito trying for the second leg of the Triple Crown, and we go back to Jim.
All right, Charles. Well, preparations are being made. You see, later today, the colors of Summer Squall, last year's winner, will be painted over in the silks of whoever today's winner will be. It's a Preakness tradition. A racetrack, you know, is a theater with 9 or more shows a day, and much goes on behind the scenes, starting at dawn on the backstretch.
The backstretch of any racetrack is a community.
The Goodyear Blimp, the spirit of Akron. Well, you know, people call the Kentucky Derby the most exciting 2 minutes in sports, and so much happens in those 120 seconds. It's really tough at the time to digest all of it or even part of it. So what better way to look back at the Kentucky Derby than with 20/20 hindsight?
On the Arkansas Derby, he would have been one of the favorites in the Kentucky Derby. Yet, Ryan McAnally, you chose to pass that race up. Why?
Well, because of years of experience, Charlie. Last year we tried it with Silver Inning. It didn't work. I've tried it at home several times with other horses. It doesn't work. They don't give their best performance that way, unless it's a very fresh horse. You get to learn, you know, after you've been around probably as long as I have. But anyway, that's just been my experience, and, you know, hopefully it works today.
Olympio has shown a lot of versatility in his running style. How much will that play into your strategy today?
I think it'll play an important role because there's a lot of these other horses here today that are probably thinking the same thing we are. You know, you need a lot of speed to stay up there. And if they all go, well, it'll set it up for Strike the Gold. Hopefully it won't, but on the other hand, you never know what's going to happen when those doors of the starting gate open. But I think judging from everything, you know, with our horse's style of running, I think it could go either way, and Eddie realizes that.
Ryan McAnally, you're a member of the Hall of Fame. You've trained multiple champions, yet you've never won a classic. How much do you want this?
Oh, very much.
This strategy won't happen. This time, his ability will dictate the strategy.
He'll be ridden by one of the top jocks in the country, Gary Stevens, who is with Charles C. Canty.
Well, Best Pal and Gary Stevens put up a good race in the Derby to be second, but looking at the race closer, you got in trouble a time or two.
Yeah, we had a little bit of trouble coming around the 3/8 turn, coming into the stretch. I was forced to make a decision early on in the race to take back or stay up and go wide. I chose to take back. I had to fight my way through some traffic going into the final turn. Was forced to steady a little bit at the 5/16 pole. Everything opened up at the quarter pole, and got a pretty smooth run from the quarter pole. But looking back on the race, I would have liked to have gotten a little clearer passage earlier on in the race. Might have been a little tighter race.
Where do you think you'll lay today?
Well, he's going to be right up towards the front end. I'd look for him. I don't want to take him too far out of the race. It's a shorter field. I shouldn't have to make as many decisions this time as what we did in the Derby. And he's a very smart horse, very intelligent. He'll place himself. I'm going to let him place himself. And just want to be in the race at the quarter pole. He's got a great finish, and that's where I want to be.
Good luck to you. We'll go back to Al Michaels.
All right, thank you, Charles. See, Dave, here is Strike the Gold. Last year, Nick Zito said he didn't bring 36 Red into the Derby the right way, but he certainly this year brought Strike the Gold in the right way.
He had a plan, Al, and that was to keep Strike the Gold out of prep races that were 2 weeks apart. It worked for the Kentucky Derby, but he couldn't change the timing of the Preakness. Now, the positive thing is that Strike the Gold, even with the Derby and shipping here to Maryland in hot weather, well, he has improved physically. He looks magnificent.
I don't know what to think about Maine Minister. I liked him a lot in Kentucky. He finished third at 86-1. But can he improve, or was that his best bolt?
I think it was his best bolt. In the Kentucky Derby, he also lost an enormous amount of ground. He was 4 wide on both turns. But if he could duplicate that, then he'd be back in the hunt.
Then there is Hansel. We talked about him earlier. The favorite in the Derby. They were going to skip the Preakness, but now they have brought him back, and here he is today, and you can get a pretty good price on him.
And only one horse in the last 9 years has come back to win the Preakness after being the beaten favorite in the Kentucky Derby. That was Snow Chief, who finished 11th. I wonder if it'll happen with Hansel, who was 10th.
And now another look at Olympio, number 7, who is 5-2 and has won 3 in a row.
And the focus here has to be on trainer Ron McAnally. It took guts to keep this horse out of the Kentucky Derby, but this man knows his horse, and the horse is so versatile.
He'll be ridden by a man who's no stranger to the winner's circle in Triple Crown races, Eddie Delahousie, who's with Charleston.
Well, if pace makes the race, then the pressure is going to be on Eddie Delahousie. Where do you think you'll be in this race?
Well, Charles, I don't know exactly. When the gate opens, then we'll see what happens. But I'm pretty sure we'll be laying fairly close. Hopefully, he'll be comfortable laying second or something like that. But he's a very kind horse. You can do about what you want with him.
All right, and he's ready for you to go mount up. Go see your trainer, Ron McAnally. We'll go back to Al Michaels.
Okay, Charlesy, we'll take a look now at number 1, Corporate Report, trained by Wayne Lucas. Very lightly raced, but not very impressive at Louisville. What do you think?
Well, he had the advantage of drawing the inside post here. He has early speed. Look for him to zoom to the front, maybe try and stretch it.
In the Kentucky Derby, there are a lot of horses that you look around and say, well, what in the world is this horse doing in the race? And here in the Preakness, we have one horse like that. What'd you think, and what's he doing in this race?
Well, he's an Illinois bred. He's a very talented 3-year-old, but unknown in major competition. He's won 3 out of 5. Who knows? He could pull it up.
Then there is Honor Grays, number 6. You talk about potent connections. He's owned by Bruce McNall, the owner of the Los Angeles Kings and the great coin collector. Wayne Gretzky of the Kings has a piece of him, and so does Magic Johnson of the Los Angeles Lakers. What kind of chance does he have?
Well, you know, he's here because of a very eye-appealing second-place finish in the Derby trial, and he would have to be coming on very strongly. I think he's an outsider.
Your pick, sir?
I picked Best Pal in the Kentucky Derby. I'm going to stick with him, hoping he can improve on that second-place finish. How about you?
You're my pal, and I'm picking Best Pal today. Best Pal and Maine Minister in my exacta. Post time at the Preakness is now 16 minutes away. We'll be back.
As we get riders up here, going to Strike the Gold, Kentucky Derby winner, Delahousie. There's Delahousie, excuse me. Chris Antley, looking for a Triple Crown. What a dream. And the horse, who had that difficult babyhood. And now, as we said, Maryland, my Maryland, played by the Baltimore Colts band, although it's been long years since the Colts fled under the cover of darkness on a snowy night to Indianapolis. The Colts band is still very much in existence. They'll be playing this summer at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and they will be in existence till football comes back to Baltimore, so they say. Maryland, my Maryland. Now for a final pre-race impression, let's go to Jack Whitaker again.
Thank you, Jim. What is the Preakness? What is this funny little race that's been slipped in between the Derby and the Belmont? This race with a murky beginnings. This race that has broken the heart of many a thoroughbred horse on its way to a Triple Crown. It does not have the historic glitz of the Derby nor the soft elegance of the Belmont, but it has inserted itself into the family of the Triple Crown like an eccentric uncle, and it will not be intimidated. This is a tough horse race around tight turns and a terrific test for these 3-year-old colts. You need racing luck and stamina to win the Kentucky Derby. You may still need racing luck to win the Preakness, but you also better be street smart and tough, because this second jewel in racing's Triple Crown, this Preakness, is a diamond in the rough.
And the moment grows very close. A tremendous crowd in the infield on the right side of your screen, as you can see, really shoulder to shoulder. They started coming in very early this morning, even though it had rained overnight, and there was a question about the weather at that time. But it's clear now. It's going to be clear for the race. The crowd approaching 90,000 people as the horses make the turn. Now to the post parade. Which horse do you like? Do you like number 1, the Wayne Lucas trained Corporate Report? He's lightly raced, finished 9th in the Derby, but he has Pat Day for his jockey, and that's a definite plus. Perhaps you favor number 2, Maine Minister, the surprise horse in the Derby with his 3rd place finish. You know, one of his owners made a fortune with a gold mine strike, and he'll pay a good price if he wins. And speaking of gold strikes, here's Strike the Gold, hoping to head home to New York, with a chance to win the Triple Crown at Belmont. A win today will certainly bring him the respect he already deserves. Number 4 is Hansel, the unexpected guest at the party. After he finished 10th as the favorite in the Derby, he wasn't expected to run here. A last-minute decision, remember, brought him a chance to redeem himself. If you like number 5, Best Pal, you're not alone. He won $1 million as a 2-year-old. He hasn't won in 3 starts this spring, but he was, of course, 2nd in the Derby. No gelding has won this race in 77 years, and he is a gelding. Number 6, Honored Grades, is the new kid on the block. 2nd in the Derby trial. He skipped the Derby itself. He's the first horse ever trained by Rodney Rash, who come home to Maryland for this Preakness. But your choice may well be Olympio, the fresh horse, coming here with 4 weeks rest. Many racing people would love to see trainer Ron McAnally win his first Triple Crown race. And those who bet Would You Think will be well rewarded if he wins. He's the long shot trained by Mike Whittingham, son of the famous Charlie. And speaking of Charlie, here is Charlesy, as we have finished with the post parade of these 8 horses. What do you think are the main problems here for this great task in front of Strike the Gold?
Well, Jim, he's strictly the horse to beat, but he's got his work cut out for him. It'll be harder for him today than in the Derby because of the different configurations of these 2 tracks. Churchill Downs is shaped like a stretched rubber band, tight turns and long straightaways, whereas Pimlico is shaped more like an egg. The first turn is tight, the second turn is wider, and the backstretch and the home stretch are shorter. So, without a long straightaway for a stretch runner like Strike the Gold to build up steam, closing ground is more difficult. Remember, last year's Derby winner Unbridled managed to reach contention at the head of the stretch, but the effort was so taxing he couldn't stay with Summer Squall. So to avoid the same situation, Strike the Goal will have to lay a little closer to the pace that Corporate Report will set. When they turn for home, I think Best Pal will be the horse he'll have to catch.
So let's be ultimately specific. As we say, whom do you like?
If Best Pal's ever going to turn the tables on Strike the Goal, it'll be today. The conditions suit.
Afraid I have to stay with Strike the Goal again, but Best Pal is definitely in my exacta. Okay, it's almost time for the post in the 116th running of the Preakness Stakes. We're in Baltimore, and where else would you want to be today?
It's Corporate Report. 9th in the Kentucky Derby is 11-1. And Main Minister, who was 3rd in the Derby, is 18-1. Strike the Gold has been 2-1 since we came on the air. He has now dropped to 9-5. Hansel, the Derby favorite, is 8-1. Best Pal is the 3rd choice. He is 5-2. Honor Grades is 23-1. That's the 2nd longest shot in the field. Olympio is the 2nd choice in the field at 2-1, and the long shot will break from the outside. What you think at 35-1? Now, patrons at Belmont Park in New York and Hollywood Park in California can also bet this race today. And here's some odds comparisons. Strike the Gold 9-5 here, a shorter price in New York, but you can get 5-2 at Hollywood on him. Best Pal 5-2 here is only 2-1 in New York and 6-5 in California. Remember, he raced in California this winter. Olympio is 2-1 here, but you can get 7-2 on him at Belmont and 7-2 on him in Inglewood. Once again, the Chrysler Triple Crown Challenge and the bonus involved. Total points, $1 million to the horse accumulating the most points. Strike the Gold has 10 already by virtue of his Derby win.
Grades, as is Magic Johnson, along with Bruce McNall. Wayne, possibly the best athlete in the world if you could compare sports. There's another Wayne Lucas, the winningest trainer you'll find anywhere in these big stakes races, and he's got Corporate Report today, something of a long shot, but he usually has a reason. It's time now to go upstairs as they near the post to Dave Johnson. Dave?
So the starting gate positioned at the top of the stretch and Farm Away set the track record, equaling the American record 152-2 just a week ago in the Pimlico Special, and Tank's Prospect set the stakes record 153-2. And there is Corporate Report. We're going to see how quickly he gets away from the inside, shooting to the front. Also watch number 5, Best Pal, see if he gets into the race earlier than he did in the Kentucky Derby. He certainly will. And Olympio has early speed if he wants to use it. Pat Day is aboard Corporate Report. He won the Preakness with Tank's Prospect, setting that stakes record. He also won last year with Summer Squall. Main Minister. Alex Solis won the Preakness with Snow Chief. And here's the Derby winner, who rallied to win it with an attack of speed and stamina just Hansel between horses. Corporate Report on the inside. Now passing the stands for the first time. Olympio on the outside to the front. Corporate Report battles back early. Hansel between them in third. Main Minister is fourth. Then What You Think on the outside fifth. Best Pal back into sixth position, and then it's two back. And on the inside, the Kentucky Derby winner has Strike the Gold on the outside. That's Honor Grades. Now around the clubhouse turn. It's Corporate Report on the inside, in front by half a length. Olympio on the outside. Report drops back third. Olympio at the rail is fourth. And down the stretch they come. Hansel in front by 3 lengths. On the outside, Best Pal. Corporate Report toward the rail. Main Minister and Olympio. And as they come to the 16th pole, all alone, it's Hansel showing the way.
He was lagging off the pace, not terribly far behind. He was trying to make a move along the rail. He did get stopped. He did have some trouble, but when he got clear, there wasn't any room.
Best Pal.
Best Pal was right there in contention. I'm not sure I can find an excuse for it.
People love the convenience of fax machines. What most of us don't like are funny paper faxes that curl up. That's why Xerox makes a wide range of plain paper fax machines. For plain paper documents that are easy to read.
as he brings Hansel home. The reaction of Frankie Brothers, Lazy Lane Farms, and Joe Albritton, the owner of Hansel, who wins the Preakness. And the black
close, strike the goal was what?
Well, Chris had him in a perfect spot. It just looked like he didn't get the best of trips, you know. Looked like when he wanted to move, he really couldn't. There's, you know, but that's racing. That's the breaks. But I think he'll come back into Belmont. He's a wonderful horse, and that's racing, you know.
Chris, when we broke, it didn't appear you got the best of start, and then you didn't have the best of luck down the backside.
Well, he was sucking back. He was sucking back right at the start, and he got off just a touch slow, but that didn't really seem to bother him a bit because he was right on the, you know, right on their flanks going into the first turn, and I rode him and tried to get some position. I had one horse outside of me the whole way that stayed with me, and I really couldn't shake loose of that horse, and I was pretty much pinned down on the fence the whole way, and he didn't really like that. And when we got to the turn, I got pinned even tighter and tighter, and I didn't have a whole lot of running room anyways. He didn't get a fair chance anywhere.
And you said to me a minute ago you thought he might be the horse to win the Belmont.
He'll win the Belmont.
You heard it here. Nick, we're going to the Belmont, I take it.
Oh, yeah. He's a good kid. He knows what he's talking about. Don't worry.
A lot of disappointment here, but right now we'll go back to Alan Dave.
Okay, Charles, we have what he was talking about, what Chris Antley said in regard to getting pinned toward the rail. But here he was in position, ready to attempt to make a run at the leaders down the backstretch, and he gets into some tight quarters here inside the 6-horse Honor Grades. Taken back a bit, and then Antley goes to the whip, and right there he finds difficulty getting through. Now he begins to swing to the outside, but there would be no Kentucky Derby repeat at all today for Honor Grades. And so interestingly, 3 horses, Best Pal, Honor Grades, and Olympio, the talk of the town, the 3 favorites, and they all run out of the money. Here is the order of finish now. Hansel wins it by 7 lengths over Corporate Report. Main Minister 10 back. Olympio just back of Main Minister finishes 4th. Then came Best Pal, Strike the Gold, What'd You Think, and Honor Grades. The official order of finish for the Preakness. We'll be back in a moment with the presentation.
But he did tell me that he was lying in perfect position, that when he called upon Best Pal to make his run, there simply wasn't anything there. Gary felt he really didn't have an excuse that he could recognize. Jim?
All right, Charles, thank you very much. However, there will be a $1 million bonus for the horse which has started and finished all 3 races and has the most points. So now we have Hansel and Strike the Gold tied for the lead with 10, Main Minister with 6, Best Pal with 5, and Corporate Report with 5. So it's still up for grabs as we go to the Belmont Stakes 3 weeks from today. Now, another presentation. We have Tom McAleer with us up here somewhere. Mr. Albritton, we decided to give it another shot. Good start, eh, Jerry?